would have been a liberal and a progressive. The only people that I know who aren't are people who are unhappy in life, been a big disappointment for them. Dan Blocker truly hated him more than anyone. Dan Blocker, with his round, worn face, gentle smile, and muscular physique, was once the symbol of the calm Western man through his role as Hoss Cartwright in the famous series Bonanza. However, behind this perfect image, few could have imagined that off-camera, Dan Blocker was a deeply complex person with many untold dark corners of his life. Throughout his career, Blocker was involved in a series of subtle conflicts, some of which erupted into full-blown confrontations with some of Hollywood's most prominent names. Some of these people were once his closest companions, only to later turn against him for personal gain. Others used their power to secure roles, steal the spotlight, and even push him out of multi-million-dollar contracts. There were even accusations made against him related to racial prejudice. All these factors led Dan Blocker to bitterly say, "I can never forgive them." So who were the 8 people who made Dan Blocker despise them until the end of his life? Where did these conflicts truly originate? 1. Pernell Roberts. From close friend to unhealable enemy. In the early days of Bonanza at Paramount Studios in 1959, Dan Blocker and Pernell Roberts were considered the closest pair among the cast. They often sat together over coffee in the studio's backyard, sharing family stories, and even drove together to Lake Tahoe when the crew prepared for an outdoor shoot for the second season. Greer Sheldon, a makeup artist at the time, recalled that Blocker once joked that Roberts was the easiest person to talk to on the set. No one could have guessed that just a few years later, Roberts would become someone Blocker no longer wanted to mention. The situation began to fracture in late 1961 when NBC released the viewer ratings. An internal report sent to reporter Martin Gray of the Los Angeles Herald showed that letters from viewers for Hoss Cartwright had surged unexpectedly. Audiences loved the warmth, natural humor, and the closeness Blocker brought to the character. Meanwhile, Roberts' character, Adam Cartwright, showed a sharp decline in appeal. This shift wasn't just evident in the statistics, but also on set. Script meetings in early 1962 started adding more scenes for Hosea, while Adam's storyline was reduced. Veteran writer Harold Jack Bloom noted in his film journal that Roberts went silent when he received the script for episode 114 because Hosea's lines were now double those of Adam's. Roberts stood up and left the meeting without explanation. According to Bloom, the silence in the room lasted for 3 full minutes with no one daring to touch the papers on the table. Roberts never confronted Blocker directly, but his attitude became more obvious. He avoided Blocker during breaks, no longer drank coffee with him, and even refused to rehearse scenes with Blocker in several key episodes. A lighting crew member recalled Roberts telling director Claxton, "We need to reduce Hosea's emotional scenes to keep balance." Blocker, standing nearby, overheard the comment and immediately understood its true meaning. Roberts wanted to regain the central role. Rumors began circulating that Roberts was dissatisfied with being overshadowed by Blocker. Articles, especially in TV World in May 1963, hinted that Roberts was facing mild mental stress due to work pressure and his character's direction. The more rumors spread, the more Roberts' attitude towards Blocker became unpredictable. Then in the summer of 1963, the incident that completely severed their bond occurred at Lake Tahoe. It was a long family scene shoot. Roberts and director Claxton had an intense debate about whether Adam should show stronger emotions or maintain restraint. When Blocker happened to pass by, Roberts blurted out a remark that, according to many crew members, became the spark that shattered Blocker's trust. Some people don't need to try, and they still get more scenes. Although it wasn't a direct insult for Blocker, the comment was a sharp stab at his pride. That night, he confided to his close friend, supporting actor Mark Darrell, that he didn't want anything to do with Roberts anymore. As time went on, Roberts grew increasingly uncomfortable, avoiding the cast group gatherings. Blocker, who was always sincere, interpreted this coldness as hostility. Some crew members believed Roberts had long been envious of the audience's love for Blocker. Many reporters noted that Roberts continuously gave stiff responses in interviews, sometimes hinting at criticism of Bonanza. The breaking point came during the script meeting in late November 1964, when NBC announced they would expand the episodes revolving around Hosea due to a significant increase in viewer feedback. Roberts showed no strong reaction, but his face visibly palled. An assistant producer reported that Roberts stared at Blocker for 3 full seconds before looking down at the paper, remaining silent until the end of the meeting. Just over a month later, in January 1965, Roberts left Bonanza without saying goodbye to anyone. No press conference, no hugs from colleagues, not even a thank you to the crew. He walked out of Paramount Studios as if he wanted to erase all traces of his time there. For Blocker, this was the ultimate betrayal. Laura Price, an editor for the Nevada Appeal, described that when Blocker mentioned Roberts, he would only softly say, "There's a situation that saying anything won't solve." However, according to many sources within the crew, Blocker truly resented how Roberts left without a word. It wasn't the fact that Roberts was quitting, but the lack of even a brief acknowledgement that he was leaving. For Blocker, this was a level of disrespect that was impossible to accept. After leaving Bonanza, Roberts continued to spark controversy when he abandoned a CBS project mid-production due to disagreements with the director about his character's development. The Hollywood Citizen News even reported that he showed signs of exhaustion due to his inability to find a suitable role. All these factors led many to believe that Blocker and Roberts' relationship would never be repaired. And indeed, it was not. Blocker never spoke Roberts' name again in public. Those close to him said that just hearing anyone mention Roberts would make Blocker go silent as if he wanted to end the conversation immediately. For him, Roberts wasn't just an ex-colleague, but the deepest disappointment of his career. 2. John Wayne, the conservative icon who trampled Blocker's opportunity in dignity. Hollywood in the 1960s was a place where the big names could control the fate of a film with a single nod. And no one embodied that power more than John Wayne. He was the American icon in the truest sense of the word. Someone who could silence an entire production team with a mere step into a room. However, not everyone knew that this dominance once crushed the opportunity, faith, and self-esteem of another man, Dan Blocker. The story began in early 1967 when Batjack Productions, led by Burt Kennedy and distributed by Universal Pictures, was preparing to launch the film The War Wagon. In the original script, the character Pierce was a crucial mercenary role for the latter half of the film, and Dan Blocker was the top choice for casting. According to production organizer Marvin Ellis, Blocker had his official costume fitting at Prop Room 3 at Paramount Studios in early February. The contract was nearly finalized with an agreement worth $47,500, a significant sum for a supporting role at the time. Director Kennedy even mentioned to the press that he wanted a tough but relatable character. And Dan has both of those qualities. But just a week before the scheduled shoot, John Wayne, who had the lead role, reread the script and voiced dissatisfaction, not with his character, but with someone else's role. Specifically, the character of Pierce. A member of the Batjack team recalled that Wayne called producer Charles Fitzsimons that night at the Beverly Wilshire Hotel, where he often stayed while working in Los Angeles. His message, according to an assistant's recording, was, "I don't want anyone else to overshadow the atmosphere of the set. That role has to go to someone I choose." The next day, Dan Blocker's contract was quietly canceled. The role went to Bruce K. Wayne's longtime friend, an actor whose best days were behind him, but who Wayne always brought along in his projects as a loyal companion. When Blocker received the news while filming Bonanza at Lake Tahoe, he stood in the makeup room for nearly 5 minutes in silence. A co-star recalled that he crumpled up the facts confirming the role cancellation, threw it into the trash, and softly muttered, "This has nothing to do with the craft. This is about power." From that point on, John Wayne's name became a silent obsession for Dan Blocker. Blocker was not just hurt because he lost the role. What truly angered him was Wayne's handling of the situation. Cold, impersonal, and without any explanation. Worse yet, the media later praised Bruce K. Bate as the perfect choice for the role of Pierce, as if Blocker had never been considered. Publications like Hollywood Citizen News and Photoplay even referred to Wayne as the unofficial curator of the War Wagon. By now, the conflict was deep, but it also revealed another layer of tension, one that was personal and rooted in their different worldviews. John Wayne, in Blocker's eyes, was not just a man who stole an opportunity. He symbolized everything Blocker opposed: conservatism, discrimination, and authoritarianism. In a shocking interview with Playboy magazine in May 1971, Wayne famously said, "I believe in the superiority of the white race. Until black people are properly educated, I don't think they should hold leadership role.